Is there more of a problem in society right now? Is that why you're doing this, or?
Of course. Go, 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 go! Faster, faster, faster!
You know, there's this whole movement which is anti-police. That was very terrifying to a lot of Jews.
The media doesn't report what's really going on.
But I'm here to protect my family.
What do we have here, guys, for guns?
Let me remember how many shootings was this weekend in New York? I got a
Who could keep track? There's more than we could count.
What do you see as the big differences between Israel and America?
People kind of forgot about the Holocaust.
Faster, faster, faster!
I think for the most part, Jews have been pretty safe here. If police are going to be defunded, what does that say for us? What position does that put us in? We have to be able to protect ourselves because nobody else is going to do it.
Good morning, guys. Here about an hour northwest outside of New York City. About an hour to go out into the countryside. So today we're going to meet with an Israeli Defense Forces sharpshooter. Reason being is he is forming security teams for Orthodox Jews and Hasidic Jews in the region in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, because anti-Semitic crime has been on the rise. The last 5 years, he says, it's gone up dramatically, and they are fearful it's going to get worse. So they're preparing themselves. Pennsylvania has different laws.
Yeah.
Bet you can fire whatever out here.
Well, it's not whatever, but it's a lot. I mean, it's compliance with federal law, and then there's you know, some local PA restrictions, but it's much more liberal than it is in terms of the laws of New York. Has the safe factor, very restrictive.
Okay.
So here we have pretty much of a free hand, and everybody around here shoots. It's not weird that they're shooting. Like, you hear all the, what if you want to call neighbors, people within a few miles radius.
Right.
Just people shoot around here, you know. What we are doing here today is a armed response active shooter course. Okay. So we're going to be training. We have a group of people. We have a few more that are coming, that are on their way.
Is there more of a problem in society right now? Is that why you're doing this, or?
Of course. You know, I mean, just what's been happening in the past few years now. I mean, it started in Pittsburgh was the first major incident. You know, 11 killed, synagogue, Jersey City attack, mass shooting, and then of course there was the Muncie attack. But those are just the big ones that we hear in the media. There's of course a lot of smaller incidents that happen on a daily or weekly basis in a lot of Jewish communities where a lot of Jews are assaulted violently by thugs. I don't think that it should get into the point of paranoia where we should be in fear of our lives everywhere we go.
Sure.
But at the same time, we can't afford not to be prepared. 145, we're going to be doing combat first aid. 220 is going to be live fire. You've got an ambidextrous safety. You've got a safety, an AK style safety over here on the right side.
So we're gonna do some dry training first. No firing, but just.
No firing. Guys, we're gonna talk about the three main positions of shooting. In front of each other, next to each other, and make a little bit like 3 feet between each other. So go a little bit. Just like this, when your hands are under your head. Position I had it before when I was thinking, right? So that's the way of knowing where I want to put it. Okay. Make sure the leg is not bent and you're straight. Now, looking comfortable, I want you to focus on a specific position. Just do it.
So Jonathan
But eventually you'll get it. You
and
don't
Chaim
okay, it's muscle memory, your
are
body
the
gets
pros.
used.
Chaim just came back from Israel,
Once you're staying like
from the
this,
military. I think he was in
you're
4
gonna
years, 5
lean
years,
a little bit
like
forward
that.
with your body.
Jonathan was over there 16 years. So they're the professionals. Jonathan was the sharpshooter. And these guys, it's a different level of expertise. Some guys are sort of on the beginner side of things. Others really know what they're doing. And it's really well run in the sense that Jonathan, you can tell he's been in the military. I mean, he's on everyone for being here on time. Very structured with the day. Very professional so far.
That you don't have to move. You don't use your muscles too much. You're just stable, looking in, and if you see a target, I'm one, I see there's a wall, but I'm still going, I'm gonna go in here. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Slowly and good, slowly and good. Very good, and go. Slowly up. Make sure you look where you're going. Get your hand on his back. Very good, very good. Open it up, get in, and very good. Come in, corner, and move on. Very good, very good.
So Jonathan, tell us, why are you doing this? What's going on here?
We are aware of all of
You
the
want them,
incidents that have been
you're gonna
happening
get them
lately,
anyway. You have a weapon,
all of the rise in
you're on them, right?
anti-Semitism,
You're gonna run after them, you're not
and
gonna be able to get
we're
it.
very
You're gonna stand, you're
concerned,
not gonna be able to hit them,
and we want to
okay?
make sure
What you wanna do is you wanna, let's
that
say,
these things
he's
are not allowed to
meters
continue,
now, the chance
that
of
our
you hitting him is not
communities
so
are no
good.
longer vulnerable.
You're a
We
big
want to
dog,
make
okay?
sure
You're
that
standing in the middle of the
we're
field. You
safe
don't
in our
want that.
synagogues, that our
You wanna
children
do
are
is you wanna
safe
be
in
able
their
to go down,
schools,
leave the position and just be in
that
the middle,
our
okay?
communities are not going to be vulnerable to these attacks by all those people out there that want to hurt us.
So what's going on? Is it, like you said, there's a rise. There are obviously some big incidents we know of, but in everyday life, do you feel any tension? Do you feel this, or you're just preparing yourself for the future, perhaps?
I mean, I definitely feel that there's a rise in recent years that I've never seen before.
Huh.
And you know, all the years I've been in this country, I think for the most part, Jews have been pretty safe here
Yeah.
and have felt very secure
That's the movement
for
between
many, many
standing
years.
and sitting.
Mm-hmm.
It should
And
take
that's all started to
seconds, okay?
change
The
in the last few
same
years. And I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Why do you think it's changing in the last few years?
That's a really good question. I think there's just a lot of factors. I think one thing is that people kind of forgot about the Holocaust.
Right.
The lessons of the Holocaust, because it's
Right.
already 80 years ago,
Sure.
are being forgotten, especially by the younger generation. They
Yeah.
don't remember what incitement and extremism leads to.
Okay.
And
Oh, so people have forgotten about the Holocaust in your community, the younger generations in your community.
I mean, I don't think in the Jewish community so
Okay,
much,
okay.
but I think in American society in general, I think
Sure.
that society in the 50s, 60s, 70s was very conscious of the Holocaust and what it did.
Yeah.
And I think that this generation is so detached from it that they forgot what can potentially happen, that this kind of evil is totally possible,
Yeah.
and it's within the human psyche.
Sure.
I think that's one reason. And there's a lot of other reasons. I think that there's just there's a lot of jealousy towards Jews because, you know, we're successful, let's face it.
Right.
We're a successful minority group, but
Right.
we're a very successful one.
Sure.
And we've persevered against the odds. There was a time when Jews were kept down
Right.
in America. They weren't allowed into a lot of professions. A lot of neighborhoods they weren't allowed to live, hotels they couldn't stay at.
Mhm.
And,
When did that stop? Say hotels you couldn't stay at.
you know, I'm not a historian. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly when it stopped,
Sure.
but I know that in the early part of the 20th century, there were a lot
Yeah.
of hotels Jews just couldn't stay at.
Okay.
There were laws, you know, there were rules.
Yeah.
You know, no Jews, Negroes, or dogs allowed. You know, that was literally a lot of places that wouldn't, or sometimes even Irish. You know,
Right.
at one time Irish were discriminated against too. That was the way things were, you know, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And despite that, you know, we've persevered and we've made it. You know,
Yeah.
we came here to America from Poland and Russia and Ukraine, very poor for the most part. 100 years ago, the Jews came here. You know, just wearing rags on their backs and not
walk around a
not
little,
a
yeah,
dime in their pocket.
Yeah.
And that changed, and you know, they made it. And Jews today are, you know, a lot of doctors and lawyers and scientists and politicians, and that kind of led to a lot of jealousy. And then there's a lot of conspiracy theories
Yeah.
about Jews. Jews control the world, and
Right.
you know, Jews are manipulating, you know, the global markets and the economy and the media, and it just there's a lot of lies out there, and it's easy to scapegoat a group of people when
Yep.
you know, especially when people are suffering. You know,
Yeah.
when things are good, you know, the economy for a long time was very good.
Right.
But now things are difficult. You know, with coronavirus, you know, it's easy to blame a group. That's what Hitler did, you know.
Yeah.
After Germany was suffering in the 30s, after their loss in World War I,
Sure.
and he just found the Jews as a scapegoat. And I see a lot of people now with coronavirus and, you know, with economic hardship, they're somehow finding a reason to blame the Jews. You know, even though that's completely bogus. You
Right.
know?
Right.
And then also they take certain actions of some Jews and tend to portray them as representing everyone.
Right,
Which-
and what I've learned my time in the Hasidic community, even in Hasidim, there are so many different sides to it.
Right.
And so many people take it so many different ways. Right.
Yeah, you know, we're not a monolithic group
Yeah.
just like anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to say there's just one type of Italian person or
Right.
one type of Canadian or, you know, one type of black person. Like there's everything, you
Yeah.
know, and even within the Jewish community, you know, we have good and bad and everything in the middle. And
Sure.
and unfortunately, there are some Jews who do some things which we're not necessarily proud of.
Yeah, of course.
But that doesn't represent everyone.
They're human.
Right.
Like
we're
every
all
group,
human.
every group does that.
We're all human and we all have our failures. We all make mistakes.
So what I'd like to make clear, though, for the viewers, for you guys, this isn't correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I know I'm not here, but I just wanted you to
Sure.
say it. This isn't a group to go attack anything. It's your goal isn't to go expand some territory in America or anything like that, right? And you're just looking to, from what I understand, if things get worse, if you feel like the system isn't securing you, you can secure yourselves.
Right. You know, and in fact, the system hasn't really secured us up till now, not
Really?
properly. Well, again, I have to say, you know, the authorities have done a great job at protecting the Jewish community. They've foiled a lot of terror attacks. You know, there's the FBI intelligence network has been monitoring a lot of dangerous people and stopped a lot of attacks from happening. So they deserve credit for what they've done. But the fact is, a lot of failures have happened too. And I don't think it's fair to necessarily blame, you know, oh, the authorities are to blame. I'm not going to blame them. They're human too, just like us.
Yeah.
They can't be expected to preempt everything.
Yeah.
But the reality is they have their limitations, and we have to be able to protect ourselves. I mean, that's what being American's all about. Is about we don't, you know, delegate our security to Big Brother. We don't say the government's going to protect us. We protect ourselves.
Yep.
You know, and of course we're very thankful to those, you know, agencies that are sticking out there for us to make sure that, you know, we're safe. But no,
So you're a proud American, would you say?
Absolutely. We're patriots. You know, we're patriotic Americans. You know, we believe in the right to bear arms. We believe in the Second Amendment. We're expressing our gun rights. And this is what it's all about being American, you know.
You're patriotic to Israel and you're patriotic to America. Is that correct?
I mean, listen, as Jews, we love the land of Israel.
Yeah.
You know, it's where we come from.
Sure.
But we're proud Americans. This is the country that gave us everything we have and made us who we are.
Right.
And we're going to fight for it. We're going to fight for its values, and we want to deter any threats. We want people to know that we're prepared, that we're strong. You know, speak softly and carry a big stick, basically.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. You know.
As an outsider, after spending a week with the Hasidic community, you know, the Holocaust wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
And it's in stories, in families, and maybe your parents, you know, felt some of it, and grandparents definitely did.
They sure did.
And so that is not, it's sort of like something buzzing in the back of everyone's head. That's how I felt as an outsider. I could be wrong on that.
Right. No, you're right.
But it feels like you never know when things could switch again, and you have to be ready, because last time, look what happened.
I mean, yeah,
we've
100%. Like, you know, none of us haven't been touched by it here.
Okay, yeah.
We've all been touched in some way. Even this generation, you know. I'm a young guy, and I've been touched by it. I grew up, you know, on stories of the Holocaust. My grandmother just wouldn't stop talking about, you know, her experiences in Auschwitz, of starvation, and her children being taken from her and gassed. And I mean, my grandfather being in a labor camp.
So like dinners or Shabbat, Sabbath.
Yeah.
Every time that she would be talking about this, bringing it repetition, time after time again.
When I was a kid, all the older members of the family were getting together. Always the Holocaust came up. There was never a Shabbat dinner where the Holocaust didn't come up. So, you know, we grew up on that. You know, my generation, we grew up on the Holocaust. You know, and the trauma's still there.
Yeah.
You know, it's passed itself down from generation to generation, and we're very aware of it. But I think, to me, it's important not just to be traumatized, and you know, it shouldn't turn, that experience should not turn us into fearful people, you know, into weak people. I think I interpret it differently. I think it's a lesson that we've learned that should teach us what mistakes not to make again, not to be weak, not to be vulnerable, not to let ourselves be targeted and scapegoated, and allow those types of things to happen. So for me, that was my lesson. My grandparents were so traumatized from it, like they never owned a gun, they never picked up a gun. They were just, it broke them in a way. You know, it broke their spirit because it was so traumatic for them. But I'm detached from it enough where I can appreciate the lessons while at the same time taking the steps necessary to make sure that type of thing never happens again. Because for me, it's all about never again. It's all about.
So your culture really does look at history as a teacher.
Oh yeah.
It looks at history as how to continue forward. You got to look at your history.
Right, and history is an ongoing thing. It's not over. History. You know, what happened 80 years ago is a part of what's happening today. It's not just something that's dead and buried and gone. You know, the lessons that we've learned, you know, even though Hitler's dead and Nazi Germany is long gone, there's always going to be people out there who are evil, who have evil in their hearts, and if they're allowed, they're gonna do evil actions. And we have to learn from that, and that's what it's all about. And thank God here in America, you know, God bless this country. This is the only place in the world where we as Jews have the ability to defend ourselves with firearms, to stand up for ourselves and take our destiny in our own hands, as opposed to just relying on the authorities to protect us, because we've done that in a lot of places and it hasn't always worked very well.
Right.
And here we don't necessarily have to rely on the authorities to protect us. We can say, you know what, we're gonna protect ourselves. You know, if the authorities are there to protect us, you know, that's great. But if they're not, that's okay too, because we're gonna protect ourselves.
You can't be 100% certain with the authorities. You have to be ready for yourselves.
Right. I mean, especially to me, you know, the lessons just happened like in June and July, you know, like all the BLM riots and everything, where it was so targeted against law enforcement. You know, there's this whole movement which is anti-police.
Right.
That was very terrifying to a lot of Jews, because up till now many Jews have really relied upon law enforcement to protect them, and if police are going to be defunded, if the police are not going to be respected, if they're not going to be able to do their jobs, what does that say for us? What position does that put us in?
Right.
So if that's what's going to happen,
right,
which I hope is not, I hope police departments are not going to be defunded. I hope the police officers are respected, you know, for the heroes they are, and police departments are going to be allowed to do their jobs to protect the community, everybody. But if it happens, and the police become weak and unable to protect us, we have to be able to protect ourselves, because nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah.
Put it back in while you're not looking. All the way out and all the way in.
You came from Israel by accident. You're still here because of COVID, and you stayed longer.
Yeah.
But how long were you in Israel for?
I was in the military for 5.5 years.
Okay. What do you see as the big differences between Israel and America?
Oh, there's a lot of differences.
Say the big, like one that really stands out for you.
I think in terms of weapons, let's talk in Israel, it's way harder for bad people to get a weapon. In America, it's way easier.
Okay.
Which means the personal level in America, I think, should be more. Because
The what level? I'm sorry?
the personal level of protection.
Okay.
Because in Israel, you have the government is very good. Over here, the government is very good, but the bad people have way more weapons.
Gotcha.
So we need more good people.
So
with
there's more
weapons.
risk here.
A little bit. I think we need more, like in America, I think we need more good people who are well trained. We have weapons. There's millions of weapons in America.
Right.
We need the right training. Let me remember how many shootings was this weekend in New York? I got a
Who
message
could keep
yesterday
track?
about
There's
it.
more than we could count, you know. They
Just
don't-
in Brooklyn or all of New York?
Just in Brooklyn.
And then not
five-
even,
okay.
you know, it's very hard to know. There's this app called Citizen where you could go on and you can see all the incidents of the day. The media doesn't report what's really going on. They're not going to tell you there's that many shootings, and you know they
Right.
want to suppress it. They're not going to say.
So crime is a lot worse
Okay,
in New
I'll
York
tell
right
you
now,
what.
huh?
Just in Brooklyn, in the last 24 hours, there was 9 shootings. Like 9 people injured from shooting. Might be more shootings. And those are crime shootings. They're not terrorist shootings. They're crime shootings.
It wasn't this bad before COVID, right?
No, I mean they have daytime shootings now. You know, broad daylight on a street corner. There's been a lot of videos going around lately of like crazy incidents that are happening. Right next to Waynesburg, right where like Hasidic Jewish people walk.
Right.
There was a shooting last week by a Sweet 16 party where 9 people got shot. 1 fatal and 9 people got shot by a Sweet 16 party. All the people got shot were between ages 14 and 20.
Oh my
Which means the
God.
oldest victim was 20 years old. That's very young.
Yeah, and all this
It's
is
a very-
happening because of police reform, and they took away the stop and frisk. They're taking away cops on the street.
Oh, you don't think society works better if we just get rid of all the cops and then everything works great?
Hell no.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
And order.
After being in countries where police forces don't work at all and seeing how that
like
is,
in Brazil, where the gangs are on the streets.
yeah,
or wherever.
that's really
Let's-
nice to live in.
We're thankful for the police. I think they are doing a good job. We just think that they should have more backing. They should have
They're
more
trying
Yeah.
to defund the police now. You know.
Like better training, better cops, more funding. Give a lot of resources to that.
For me, it's very important. Family.
Yeah.
That's what I train for. But also community. After family comes community. So
It's definitely also for the hobby of it, you know. It's not just for the safety. It's fun as well, you know. We always
it
liked
is
it.
fun.
It's like a good group of guys. You're all friends pretty much.
Yeah, we know each other for a long time.
How often do you guys do this?
Try to like every 2 weeks or so.
That's cool. So you got different locations, meet up, hang out. I was just saying to the guys, I'm not trying to be too nice here, but I haven't
Pretty
been,
nice guy though.
I haven't been pushed. I thought coming into the Jewish community, you're Hasidic.
Yeah, we're both.
You're both Hasidic. I thought coming into the Hasidic community, I would have been like looked down at, and had dealt with the superior complex amongst the people I was with. Zero of that, and I think it's you guys remind me of Ukraine, where I just moved from, where it's like a hard you know, you got to get past the front lines. Let's just say it this way, right? Like you might get a hard look at first. You're not going to get fake smiles. You know, things are meant from the heart, I feel here. And so once you
break that ice.
once you're in, you get this very cool connectivity. I'm very blessed to have witnessed it this last week and be part of it. And I can see what's so attractive about it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Come on, one more. Bust out. 40. There we go.
Got
Good
hummus
job.
over there. I love it. You got the hummus. Hey, so I thought when you're Hasidic, you have to have the hair here.
You don't have to, and I still have them though.
You do right now?
Yeah.
Can I see?
Yeah, it's on the cab, yeah, here, you can see that.
Oh, you just like wrap it back. Yeah. Do you? Let me see. Let me see.
You saw it. You saw.
Yeah.
It's there.
All right. So you just tuck them back.
The way now, you know.
Gotcha.
The more tight it gets in his elbow, okay, in his arm. Okay, now blood is not going anymore into his arm.
So my arm was shot right here. Is that what you mean?
Right here. So we're gonna go 4 fingers above.
Okay.
Bring that in nice and tight.
It's
And
all
that's
right.
Okay.
Wow, that really shuts it off, huh?
Yeah.
The chances of me getting shot are way less, right? When we
We're about to get ready for the finale here. Got the guns out, targets, everyone's trained, ready. I haven't fired a gun for like, I fired a Kalashnikov in Cambodia and a grenade launcher, but that's about it. So I'm just gonna be cameraman on this.
and again. It's not gonna work without that being held down.
We got some of the semis here. What do we have here, guys, for guns?
These are all ARs.
ARs?
Okay, who's next? It's called Big Boy Toys.
So the guys are going from handguns over
with the
to
pistol?
semi-automatics.
Go ahead.
I've learned about guns out here. Automatics are very difficult to get a hold of.
Okay, go ahead.
Semi-automatics, I just learned that means
What do you mean?
every time you hit the trigger, it goes. Okay, for the gun owners, they know that. But for the novices like myself, there's a lot of technology, a lot of different types here.
Air protection, let's go.
All right. What you were just saying was, this is comfortable, grass, table, do push-ups, get the heart up, do a sprint run, yell at them a bit, but even that's comfortable compared to the other training
It's
you've
way
done.
more comfortable compared to anything else. The real stuff is you gotta have noises and kids around and stuff that you don't want to see in a real scenario. That's what's gonna happen. Like always in war or in shooting scenarios, the
Right.
worst is gonna happen. If you're scared of kids, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see old people, you're gonna see stress. It's gonna get in your mind mentally and physically. That's when you still have to be on target, be able to focus and hit on target.
You want somebody that drives around with bad intentions. You know, he sees an armed Jew out there. He's gonna be like, no, not this place. So he's gonna keep driving.
Right.
So that's the concept.
Not the easy target.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We've been easy
guys are
targets for
ready?
too long.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna do it like this, okay? Once you're gonna start, 20 push-ups as fast as you can. You run all the way to the car, okay? 3, 2, 1, go! Go, 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 go! Faster, faster, faster! Get up and down, up and down, up and down, faster! Get up, get up, get up! Let's go, let's go! Lights are on your hands! Run! Run! Get back! Faster, faster, faster! Go, get down, get down! Take it, clock it, make sure you're on target. Let's go, let's go, let's go! Get up! Are you ready? Go, go, go!
Forgot to
Very good, keep it up, on target, on target! We live in a city that a lot of people are very, very, very curious. What's gonna happen? There's gonna be a situation. You're gonna see people standing with phones like idiots and looking around, and they're gonna block you from coming. What you gotta do is you have a live shooter, whatever you have, you just have to cross them. You can't shoot them, you can't fight them, right? They're innocent civilians. You just have to go and just move them away, get them away. Oh, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Get your gun, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So that's why I want to get them stressed. I want them to do it right. That's the only thing that's gonna save their life one day.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
People might view this as if we're a group that's arming up and you know, kind of creating an offensive, but really that's not the case. Our goal is just to protect ourselves, as any human being would do.
Right. Well said. I was going to think of something like that, but way better from you. Thank you.
I'll say something.
Yeah.
I really hope that no one will need my training. We should all be with our families, kids and friends, and have nice Shabbos tables and enjoy life. And even if we do train hard, it doesn't mean we want to use our training.
Nice shot.
Huh?
Nice shot.
Thank you.
I always say that you have to be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. And hopefully we'll get the best and we won't have to use it. But I'm here to protect my family if ever needed.
Okay guys, that's the end of the road today. Quite an interesting experience. I'm not a Jew, but I can, just by spending a little bit of time with people from the Hasidic community like I have the last week and out here, really understand the perspective. And if you look at the history and how the tableside conversations have been for most of these people growing up, from ancestors, from grandparents, from parents, and then the current context now where there's more crime, more hate crime against Jews, coupled with the political landscape we're in, with a weakening police force, a defunding in places, and not the protection that perhaps was there, you can see why they want to form a group that can defend themselves. And as they said, they're not out there to start anything. They're out there to protect their territory, their synagogues, protect their families, and they have that right to do so. I hope you learned something in this. I definitely did. Really a cool group of guys. And lastly, I want to say, I could have made this story to be something bad. I could have said, oh, we're going out to the countryside of Pennsylvania to see a militia, getting ready to fight, and put dark music to it and made it out to be a terrible thing, which it is not. This is the truth. These are good people trying to do something, trying to protect themselves. And there's a lot to it. It's complex. Hope you got something out of that. And I'll leave the links. Jonathan, he does these trainings. I'll leave a couple links below in the description. And also, if you want to support this channel, I have a Patreon page. I'll leave that below in the description. So thank you for coming along. Until the next one.
So I just wanted to thank you, Peter, for showing the Hasidic Jewish community in a positive light and just spreading positivity and a good message. So I really appreciate that, and thank you for coming by today.
Thank you, brother.
It's been an honor.
It's been awesome. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.